definitely you have to have that knowledge beforehand. And delivering this, either like you can put it on the shelf and like nearby Tesco, that's how you deliver your product to your customers, or you can send it over digital, right? So maybe it's like a downloadable book or something like Amazon Kindle, like one of the Kindle books. That is like the one different type of delivery. And then in the end, you like to get something in return, exchange. So most of the time we expect money, but it doesn't have to be money, right? So sometimes there are like non-profit companies, their exchange expectations are different, right? So sometimes actually they are giving it free. In return, they like you to stay connected with them. Okay? But there should be something in exchange. And yeah, overall valuable offering is the critical part, and we are going to cover that soon too, so how you can create value for your customers. But going back to sales part of it, so Peter Drucker, he is really famous in like management and marketing, and what he says about marketing, he says there will always, one can assume, be a need for some selling, right? But the aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous. So basically, if you are good at marketing, you don't need to be concerned about selling, right? I mean, think of Tesla a few years ago. Maybe not right now because they are really in like not that good situation. And I never liked Tesla. I don't know if there is a Tesla owner here. Maybe we can discuss later. But a few years ago, Tesla, they never done any marketing up until last year or the beginning of this year because they're like, we don't need it. People are waiting in line for a year to get a car from us, right? Because they were so famous, everyone wants to get a Tesla, and they didn't spend a single dime on marketing. Right? And that is what Peter Drucker is trying to tell in a nutshell. But Tesla was lucky, and I said this like 6 years ago. That's why I said, okay, let me start YouTube channel, and I can actually have a proof. When I said that I said this several years ago, no one listened to me. But I said to I remember in my first class at King, I said that Tesla is lucky right now because they don't have any direct competitors, right? So because BMW, Mercedes, or other luxury car brands, they weren't in electric car segment yet at the time. But now, they have like really good competitors. That's why they are struggling. Sales are going down, market cap is going down, and they also decrease the prices a lot to sell more cars and stuff. Anyway, but going back to Peter Drucker point, so the aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer, which is something that we are going to do today, so well that the product or service fits him and sells itself. Ideally, marketing should result in a customer who is ready to buy. All that should be needed then is to make the product or service available. That might be like a bit extreme for so many brands because it sounds like, oh, it's easy. But when you think realistically, especially for low involvement segment, if you like to sell chocolates or biscuits, there are tons of competitors, right? There are so many alternatives. It's not gonna be that easy because people are not craving for your brand that easily, right? So they can easily distract it by another offering. I say, let me try this time. But for maybe high involvement product, a bit more expensive product, yes, you can achieve this. Think about your smartphones. So if you are stuck with iPhone, you will probably buy next iPhone as well, right? Because you don't want to go back. I mean, you trust them, you like it. So many other things that you can convince yourself to buy the next iPhone as well. So that is another extreme, right? So if you are good at marketing, you don't need selling or sales. But again, to Buddy's point, should you know about all of those? Yes, because I think Pablo said that marketing is about strategy. Exactly. If we don't have a strategy or planning in place, you cannot actually come up with a good product or good offering or communication campaign, any of those. You have to have a good understanding, and having a good understanding start with understanding yourself, right? So where are you now? And that where are you now part is highly critical because you need to scan the market and do some internal analysis, like focus on your strengths, what you can do, your internal capabilities and everything. And then also look at the market, competitors, and try to find a strategic fit. Is there any gap in the market that you can cover that gap with your offering? All right, so your product offering, and that is actually highly critical. Otherwise, your strategy probably will be like either price war, or I don't know, you are going to live by the margins, and it will be really hard to survive in the market, right? So if you cannot find something really good for your target audience, like something different than other competitors. So audit phase, the first phase, where are we now, is critical to understand where are you now right now, right? So with your strengths, capabilities, your, your budget, and where you want to be, right? And then the second phase of this, after understanding who you are and where are you now, so the second part is where do you want to be, okay? So with all of those, you need to set objective, your future directions, and then to be able to do that, you need to look into details of your customer segment, like customers actually. And when I say customers, so everyone who has money or who can afford your product might be your customer, hypothetically, but it is too ambitious and not efficient. That's why you need to segment your customers into like different target groups, right? Because you cannot reach all of them with the same product or with the same message. Even if you are a very simple product, like, like chocolate or like cola, right? Or like ice cream. Even then, they try to come up with like different features, different flavors, right? So, or Diet Coke, Coke Zero, or like different like orange flavors and everything. So that's why you need to have different segments and target one or two of them based on your capabilities, of course. And that critical part, start with positioning. Up until doing this, like positioning part, you are not spending any money on advertising or communication, right? So you are trying to understand people, your target segments, and understand yourself, come up with the product, and then that one, after that one, the strategy, when the strategy is set, you start going and then starting some action. So action plan start with marketing mix. Today we are going to learn about marketing mix. So you have your packaging, you have your communication campaign, you set your price based on your target segment, and then you are ready to communicate it. Talking about it, doing some advertising. And of course, it's not ending here, because if it is not going well, you need to have some contingency plans, or you need to always measure your performance to understand if it is actually going well based on your objectives that you set at the beginning or not. Okay? So if it is not going well, there are some feedback things here, so feedback loops. You go back and then try to either change your objectives because it was too ambitious for you to reach those objectives, or you can maybe increase your budget or increase your resources to meet that objective, right? So that is how it works in a nutshell. So that is marketing strategy and planning framework. And if someone asks you what is marketing, you can maybe, if you have time, of course, you can go over this framework and saying that marketing is all of that. Because if you only focus one part, like marketing mix, that's generally what happens when people talk about marketing, like product, packaging, sales, or pricing, etc. It's not whole picture, right? Without understanding your target segment, positioning yourself, you cannot decide on any of those. And without knowing your internal capabilities, your resources, you cannot set your positioning as well. Okay, so they are all connected. And yeah, so it's not that easy to, okay, so let's do advertising. Advertising is one part of it. Sales is one part of it. And now understanding product is one part of it. It's like a holistic approach to the business. So you might just call it business for many companies. Sometimes when I work with startups, like I'm doing some consultancy jobs on the side, most of them are actually making that mistake. They only focus on the product part. They said that we have an amazing product, but they don't even think about their target segment, how they are going to reach them, never done any competition analysis before, and they fail. Like more than 90% of the startups fail in 2 years after they set up the company. And another, actually 90% fail after 3 years after that point. So it's not that easy. If you only focus one side of it, you might have big troubles.